Well, government has now given taxis the green light to operate between provinces, but only at 70% of the vehicle capacity. This is effective immediately. The National Taxi Alliance executive holding an update meeting with the Minister of Transport on Thursday. A series of meetings will now be held over this weekend to discuss operating at 100% capacity. Joining me now for reaction on the line is National Taxi Alliance's Theo Malele. Mr. Malele, always a pleasure speaking to you. Have you found some common ground with the Minister? Does the 70% capacity but across provincial borders work for you? Are you happy?
Well, good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers and listeners. We're not happy with 70% interprovincial. Let me just give you one scenario. Let's say you're traveling between Johannesburg and KZN. You have quite a number of e-tolls, or rather toll gates to go through. So if you load in 70% capacity, you won't even be able to pay for those. Neither will you be able to afford to pay for your driver. So that in itself, poses a lot of challenges.
So you find yourself, once again, even though there has been a slight concession on this, you find yourself in a situation where you can travel interprovincially. It's opened up that market again for you. Now at 70%, you still aren't able to cover your costs. So what's your suggestion in this scenario?
Well, look, if I may just bring in, some personal stuff, though I'm representing, the broader, lot. The 30% that gets, lost in the process could easily be incurred if government were to subsidize this trip. Or alternatively, we will then have to say, the 70% have to cover for the whole 100%. But then that would be, killing people. People do not have money. People are out of work. And that will actually push them beyond the 10% that they have to spend from their disposable income on public transport. So this will be skyrocketing.
So do you think government is open to the idea of filling that 30% gap that you're losing out on? Has that discussion come up?
Well, I am hopeful that, this would be part of our discussions throughout the weekend. We will be getting into a meeting sometime tonight. And hopefully we will come out, victorious. I hope so. It is quite difficult, but we will try and find each other and see if we can find a possible way forward.
And on the issue, Theo, of the 100% capacity that's been widely reported the past week or so, is there any wiggle room there, or are you sticking to insisting 100% capacity? Where are we on that discussion?
Look, even if we can insist, experts have come and, they have actually presented a letter of protest to the NCCC against this 100% loading capacity, which is then necessitated that there be, 3 meetings for us to try and find each other. So it is quite a problem for us currently. So we actually have to make sure that, people's lives are not being compromised, and ensure that people, wear masks as they board on taxis, and taxis are sanitized, disinfected, and so are people, so that we try by all means not to actually make people, become sick from COVID-19.
So you do recognize, of course, the danger in having 100% capacity, but you feel you need to do this because government isn't supporting you enough. Is that synopsis fair?
Well, I wouldn't, sound more like that. The 100% was brought about by, frustration when the minister was unable to attend in a meeting, when he had to postpone meetings 5 times a week. Then, people then felt that, the very best thing is for the industry to make its own decisions, because clearly the minister was not, coming to the party. But then he then came, and the negotiations have begun. So we just have to try and find each other here, because otherwise we just have to press them completely.
Theo Malele, for the moment, thank you. I know there's ongoing meetings where many of these issues are going to be discussed. Theo Malele from the National Taxi Alliance, a series of meetings, we're told, to be held over this weekend. So I'm sure, as you could hear, not able to give too much detail on this, but I'm sure as the weekend comes to an end, we'll be getting more updates from both governments, of course, and the various taxi alliances. That was Theo Malele.